change. I swear to you, your life will change.
Okay.
We teach people how to treat us. If you thought season 1 was empowering, you should watch season 2. It's going to sound very mushy, but it is a fact. My younger daughter, Lisa, she's 11. When I put my head on her lap, the world ceases to exist.
जूम हैप्पी स्पेस पर इस वीक की हमारी सुपर स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं सुष्मिता सेन, जिन्होंने बात की अबाउट हर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ लॉकडाउन टू हर वर्किंग एक्सपीरियंस अमिड पैंडेमिक। लेकिन सबसे पहले सुनिए द बोल्ड एंड बिंदास सुष्मिता सेन के बड़े रेवलेशन को। Sushmita Sen shared how she worked in the industry on her own terms despite people judging her.
So true that if you understand the very simple meaning of this line, your life will change. I swear to you, your life will change.
Okay.
We teach people how to treat us.
So true.
And that if you understand in your life, you stop blaming pops and their sundries for all the misgivings that you've had to suffer. You take responsibility for them. So, if I said, I won't work beyond an 8-hour shift, which becomes a 10-hour because I have to do hair and makeup and then do an 8-hour shift, what would come out of people's mouths is she's unprofessional, she's difficult to work with. I mean, so and so are bigger stars than her and they don't throw a tantrum, and look at what this is. I mean, who does she think she is? I had all of this at a very, very early on in my life because I became a mum at 24.
Yeah.
So my life was about, I have to compartmentalize and I've got to be back. So when I'm filming, I'm not being a mum. At that point, I'm not checking my phone, I'm not calling home, I'm not doing any of that. I've taken care of family and friends and borrowed help to look after Renee for those many hours so I can focus on this. But when it's backup time, even if the hero came 6 hours late, I start removing my makeup. And that became a huge problem because how can she leave? So-and-so has just arrived, things like that. It was very, very difficult for me at that point to speak my mind. But because I have always told people, shown them how to treat me, I didn't leave them a choice but to accept it. Because that's the only way I would work. And so if anybody came and said, your career will be over if you continue working like that. So I'd say, oh, I didn't know you owned the business. Yeah. So then they'd be like, no, but this is not done in the scheme of things. And I said, well, then that's because you're okay with it. You don't mind being treated like that. But I have a problem with it. So if I have to sit at home because I've got to work in my way, then I'll sit at home, I'll raise my daughter, I've got lots to do in my life. I'll do that. But when I work, I want to work. I don't want to wear hair and makeup and wait for six hours for a hero to show up on sets. And then wait longer because now that he showed up, I must continue shooting because I do have other facets to my life. So it's been hard. Is it gratifying today? Hell yeah. It's a personal victory because I've realized that when they say, things take time, but if you're consistent, it will bear results. I've seen it happen in my life. It's been a core belief and I've seen it happen. So it was a lovely question you asked.
Yahi nahi, Sushmita Sen shared the view how people compare female actresses and judge them.
You see, my life started with a series of competitions and they happened to be competing with women, right?
Yeah.
On the basis of some pretty superficial stuff like beautiful body and most photogenic and most this and most that. And yet I was intrigued by one of the preliminary competitions that used to be called Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
The one that your co-competitors votes for. That's hard, is when you realize that in relativity we grow. You want to know how good you are, If you are put in a relative environment with other amazing people,
absolutely,
you can assess your standing outside of yourself.
Yeah.
But that in no way means that's your ultimate potential, nor does it mean that what you're looking and comparing with is their ultimate potential. You're all at different stages of evolution. But I genuinely do believe that actresses looking at each other as just competition is selling themselves short. Because you don't have to be friends with an actor, with an co-actor to show sisterhood. You don't
Yeah.
have to be. Not everybody has to be friends.
Mm.
But you should know that in a given environment, the one person who would get your back, would have your back, is but a woman of your own sex because she understands you. She
Yeah.
knows what you must be going through far more than anyone else.
Absolutely.
If someone turns around and says, hey, she's looking so stunning in the song, man, you really need to up your game because look at the way she's looking for another co-actor. I find that hilarious. Instead of sitting there going, wow, she is looking amazing.
Yeah.
To this day, it bothers me that people even do the same with Aishwarya and me, as if comparing the two or comparing their features or how beautiful she is and how well spoken I am has got anything to do with the very definition of two completely different people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely for competing with one's own self. And if you can't better your own self, how can you compare yourself with potential you don't even know?
सुष्मिता सेन ने वैसे की है जबरदस्त वापसी विद हर वेब सीरीज एंड रियलिटी शोज। सबसे पहले सुनिए सुष्मिता सेन से अबाउट हर सुपरहिट शो आर्या सीजन 2।
If you thought season 1 was empowering, you should watch season 2. There was a feature film that I was to do in the middle of Aarya season 1 and season 2. But man proposes, God disposes. I've been saying that for all of this time when the lockdown happened. So pre-production couldn't happen on time. And hence, we ran out of that window. And now Aarya season 2 is my top priority because I have given them dates way back. So I now film that first. And once that gets over, then I move on to the feature film.
सुष्मिता सेन ने पैंडेमिक के दौरान अपने काम करने के एक्सपीरियंस को भी हमारे साथ किया शेयर।
For being social animals, social creatures, this social distancing business is going to be very hard to do. But it's incredible, us human beings. We adapt to just about anything and then make it the new normal. So I was very, very lucky that I got to work with a team like Mintra Fashion Superstar, with Bani J and the entire team that works, including my own team, that respected the rules, followed the systematic, whatever were the requirements. I mean, we got tired of putting the damn test in our nose, in the nostril and in the throat. And we had regular intervals testing, and we were luckily in an environment where people had proximity. Nobody was forcefully trying to stay away from each other. But if this was a film set, that would be different. Since this was a show, it was intimate in its own space.
बॉलीवुड के कई सेलेब्स ने हमें ज्वाइन किया ऑन जूम हैप्पी स्पेस और सबने हमें बताया अबाउट देयर हैप्पी स्पेस। लेकिन सुष्मिता सेन का हैप्पी स्पेस है सबसे यूनिक एंड मोस्ट अडोरेबल वन।
It's going to sound very mushy, but it is a fact. My younger daughter, Lisa, she's 11. When I put my head on her lap, world ceases to exist. It's like
God.
my happiest place ever, because in so many ways I feel like the cycle of life is complete, because that little girl was in a bag on my chest and I would carry her around for nearly 2 years. I have very strong shoulders thanks to her. When I lie down on her lap, I feel like the world is a beautiful place, that everything comes to fruition in this world, and that I am safer than any other place in the world that I could be is when I put my head on her lap. The reason I say that is because she, from a very young age, mothers me. She has that quality, So, so even though my mom lives in Dubai, when I want to feel mothered, that's my happy place. I can put my head on her lap and forget about everything.
Well, Zoom Happy Space का हर एक गेस्ट है सुपर स्पेशल और सुष्मिता सेन के लिए हम कहना चाहेंगे she is one of the most inspirational actresses of B-Town.